All right, Coach, you got.
No, you're good. Yeah.
All right, Coach, you guys got your first action in this past weekend, right? How would you assess the way that your team performed down there in the gym?
We did all right. I mean, there's never really a good time to have your first tournament of the year. I mean, we only had about 7 or 8 practices, before going out there to compete, which I mean, for most of the girls, it was their kind of first meaningful action since the the NCAA tournament last year. So I mean, where there's a lot of things we can sharpen up for sure, and we've got regionals coming up, this weekend, so we got to get right back to it, which will be, pretty much the most important tournament of the fall. So I mean, we really have to clean some stuff up before going into that competition. We only have 1 practice before we head out there. So just the way the schedule is set up, I told the ladies this, before we started heading home from Kingsville on Saturday, was we're going to get better, between now and regionals, more just like in our heads thinking about the things that we need to do better than we are going out there and hitting a ton of balls, because again, after not really having like a whole lot of meaningful like college level competition for almost 4 months, you lose a little bit of kind of like the sense of urgency and the things that like you have to do every single point to be at the level that you want to be at. There was some good competition this weekend. St. Mary's was there, who obviously we had some good matches with last year. A&M Corpus was there, who wins their conference or is first or second in their conference pretty much every year. So they had some good players there. Kingsville has some new girls in, that looked really good. So it was a good competition. I don't think we played all that well. I was happy with the way we fought in some of our matches. I mean, we ended up with 2 second places and 2 third places, and both, or I guess all, Eva, Christine, and Letizia, really did a good job of fighting through, some 3-set matches. I mean, it was brutal down there. I mean, heat index was like 110. It was easily 120 on the court. So the conditions were rough, but we did a good job of fighting to get the results that we did get. We only got to play a little bit of doubles. The last round got rained out. So we've got some new doubles teams. So there's definitely going to be a lot of work that needs to get done in the next couple weeks. I mean, we're going to go to regionals and just try to compete really, really hard and give ourselves the best shots, to qualify someone for ITA Cup. But then we've got about a month after that, to really, really work hard and work on some things and to get ready for our last fall tournament. So yeah, I mean, like they came back and they played with good energy for sure. There's a lot of things we got to get sharpened up if we're gonna go deep into the tournament regionals this weekend, but not a bad start.
You were speaking about how you guys haven't had much time to kind of gel and have time to practice. What are you most forward to looking forward to seeing that biggest jump going into next weekend when you guys go to Dallas? Obviously, because like we were just talking about, you completed your first action this past weekend, but you haven't had much time to get that camaraderie and get that practice going. So what are you looking forward to see them take the next step going into next week?
Yeah, I mean, really, like, camaraderie is not really an issue on our team. Like, we've got a very, very fun team. We have a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun on the road trips and at dinner and that kind of stuff. So gelling as a team, we're there. It's more just like them getting used to getting out there and being on the court for, especially in a tournament, because typically our practices are 2 hours a day, but I mean, if you're going into a fall tournament, you could be on the court for 6 hours that day, at least. So really it's just like sharpening up the competition, like being ready, to, kind of like Chuck was saying, they're trying to win at every point in every match. I mean, I tell them, there's no big points in a match. Like every single point, you never know when is going to be the one that kind of, gets you, is the kind of catalyst to kind of take over a match. So really having them be really, really ready to compete every single time out there. And again, so they know how to, like did well last year. Most of the team is back and going to have some exciting additions in January. So when we get to the season, I think we're going to be fine. I think this weekend, I think there's for sure a couple girls and a couple doubles teams who have a shot to really get on a roll and go deep in the tournament if we handle things well. So really just getting out there and having some experience competing is going to be the biggest thing.
Seeing the success that you had last season, like we were talking about how you guys went to the NCAA tournament, did well, how does that carry over and that translate and help you guys to continue to get better and maybe even go further this tennis season?
Yeah, I mean that's definitely the goal. I mean, our goal, or at least our results-based goals, which we have, developmental goals and academic goals and program goals as well. But our tennis goals are really to win the conference championship and to go deep in NCAA's. Losing. In the championship, Lone Star Conference Championship last year, I mean, that was something that we had never, done as a program before. And so to get to that level, I think they see now, like, just the little things that you have to do right every single time out there to be able to be playing well at the end of the season. Obviously, so Dianella Rodriguez, who, was Conference Player of the Year back-to-back, ended up being an All-American this last year. She graduated and moved on. So we're going to have to replace, her productivity at the top of the lineup. Ramitha Arinki, who, had really locked down the bottom of our lineup last year. She moved on to move a little bit closer to home and focus on academics. So there's definitely some productivity that needs to be replaced. And, with the development of, girls on the team now, plus a couple of, additions that are going to be joining us in January, our level is going to be there. Like, I'm not worried about that. But, really just like the knowing how to compete and forcing yourself to, like, be ready to compete every single time you step on the court is really kind of going to be the difference between us being a top 20 team and a top 10 team. So the way the schedule lines up for us, I mean, there's so many good teams in the Lone Star Conference. Like, we're going to be ready by the time we get to the end of the season. Right now, it's just really getting comfortable with competing and having a sense of urgency and a lot of fire every time you get out on the court.
Okay.
Thank you, Coach.
I appreciate you.
Thanks. Yep.